How's it going, fellas, and welcome to the channel where I kick back, relax and talk NBA 2K22. For the first time ever, I will be ranting and raving and giving my first impressions about NBA 2K22 next gen, fellas. I will be making a current gen and even some more detailed reviews and rants and everything in between when it comes to NBA 2K22. I'm even going to be doing tutorials and all sorts of things coming to the channel. Hopefully 2, 3, maybe even 4 times a week, something will be added to the channel. I will be focusing a lot, as I said, on probably tutorials, maybe even some funny gameplays from the stream when I'll be streaming from time to time and everything in between. So if you like that sort of stuff, don't forget to leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and let's get into my first rant and rave of NBA 2K22, fellas. So let's talk my first impressions of Next Gen Park. They actually tried this year, fellas. They really did. Whether it works out to be a good game or not, who knows, because we've only played it for about 24 to 48 hours at the moment, so you just don't know how good the game's gonna be. But you have to give credit where credit's due. They actually put effort in. They put effort into the rewards. They changed the gameplay. They actually changed the things that we needed. That was one thing that I have to give credit where credit's due, because there was a lot of things that needed to be changed and they actually went at it and actually changed them. Yeah, look, it's not perfect. It's not a perfect game by any means, but the things that needed to be changed got changed, and that's a step in the right direction. We just need to have this effort every single year, because if they give this effort every single year, the sky's the limit. Because the first things you notice when you get onto next gen is the city is actually buzzing, fellas. It really is. There's so many NPCs and actual players from day one all throughout the city. There's people running past you. There's tons of people in the parks. It's great. I actually got consistent games for a change, fellas, on next gen. Can you believe it? I was stoked. I really was. It was great to see a buzzing, thriving city for a change instead of what we got last year, because it was just dead as a doorknob. It really was. I would be lucky to see anybody. Like, I'd literally be the only person in the city after about a month. It was a joke. Hopefully this game doesn't turn into a ghost town like what the last one did, but the signs are good, fellas. The signs are good that the player base hopefully is big enough for international players to get consistent games. Well, especially on day one. Maybe, as I said, that will die off over time, but it's good signs at the moment. So the next thing I want to talk about is paint defense. Paint defense actually got a buff, fellas. Big men inside the paint are crazy good. They really are, fellas. My mate Nev was going off, just blocking people here, there, and everywhere. I'll show a few clips if I remember to put it in the video, fellas, but it was crazy how many blocks he was getting in front of players, behind players, chasing down players. It did not matter. It was ridiculous. So there's no way that players are just going to be dunking on people every single play, which is a breath of fresh air. They did talk about that it felt more like 2K20 than 2K21. I don't agree personally. I still feel it feels way more like 2K21 than 2K22, but you can see the similarities. There is similarities to 2K20 there, but the dribbling isn't anything like 2K20. It's pretty much exactly the same as 21, but without speed boosting and the curry slide. That's pretty much the only two things that are different, really. Like, it's pretty much the same dribbling. It doesn't feel that responsive. I haven't got all my badges, but it just felt a little sluggish. So hopefully once I get all my badges, that will change. But it was just good to see different moves for a change, because as I said, like, speed boosting and curry slide aren't in the game. The speed boost hopefully won't come back throughout the seasons. Apparently the curry slide will come in during the seasons, but it was great to see just different moves and a bit of variety in the dribble moves, instead of just seeing the same overpowered animation be spammed over and over again for the last 3 years. It was good to see something different for a change, and actually players using a bit of IQ to get open instead of just spamming the curry slide. So the next thing I want to talk about is it's not all sunshine and rainbows, fellas. I've been talking a lot of good, but here's the bad, fellas. Just like last year, the city is a giant waste of space. It really is, and now they've added these annoying hills that make it hard for players to get up while they're skateboarding, and it just becomes a chore. Look, I've only been in it for a day and I'm already over it. There needs to be a smaller city. It's just way too big and it's just all unnecessary. it really is, fellas. There's so many just wasted space and just so much crap that it could pretty much be cut in half, and that'd be good, because the city is a good thing, but it's just way too big. It's not the greatest for park, but for my career it is a good thing, but it just becomes a chore between games to run a kilometer. Like, you've got to run like 1300 meters at times. If there is a fast travel system that does unlock later in the game, which could open it up a bit better, but still it's just very, very monotonous to grind and grind and grind after games, just running here, there and everywhere. Look, I like the idea, but it just wasn't executed properly. The city just needs to be smaller. A neighborhood is enough. Just fill it with NPCs, maybe a bit bigger than a neighborhood, maybe like the beach of 2K21. That's enough. Like, we don't need all this city crap. I know they need to fill affiliations because the community for some reason wanted affiliations, but at the end of the day, the city is just way too big. So the next thing I want to talk about is shooting. Look, it's definitely harder to shoot than NBA 2K21 next gen, not current gen, next gen, but it's not that much harder. I didn't have any badges. I was still greening here, there and everywhere, but the one thing I noticed was just the inputs felt different at times. Like, I'll shoot a green, and then I'm not saying I'm going to shoot a green the next shot every single time, but I'm at least going to be in the same sort of area. But it's not in 21 next gen, 22 next gen, sorry. Like, I'll shoot a green, and then I'll feel like I've done pretty much the same shot, so it should be slightly early or slightly late. I'm not expecting greens every time, but I'll have very late or very early, and I'm like, there's no way that this is a very early shot. Like, I don't know whether it's due to lag or what, or maybe it's just how I catch the ball and you need to wait till the ball's fully in your hands because different catches affect your jump shot in different ways. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm way overthinking it, but it's just weird. I don't know what it is. Just sometimes shooting just feels a bit random at times. So the next thing I want to talk about, let's just talk about the new features. Timed alley-oops is a great idea. It shouldn't be an easy play to get an alley-oop. It's a big play and it must take skill, and it finally does. It's not that hard to actually steal the alley-oop itself, like the pass, but then the players have to time it perfectly to actually execute, which is a great thing. As I said, it takes skill to do alley-oops instead of players just spamming them over and over and over again. So when you do pull one off, there's so much hype behind it, there's excitement behind it, instead of, oh, there's just another alley-oop. So the next thing I want to talk about is the contact dunk meter. I'm not sure how I feel about this, fellas, but at this stage it's a good feature, it really is. But once players master it, that's where it gets scary, because it becomes annoying, because players will just go to it every time, and it's very hard to stop if they get an excellent. If they get an excellent, they pretty much guarantee to dunk, whether you're there or not there. But the thing is, once people learn how to use it, it could become a very, very bad feature. That's one problem with it. Maybe they can tune the sliders, but until then, it's a huge W. So the next thing I want to talk about when it comes to the new features is the builder. It's more different than you think, fellas. It looks exactly the same visually. Like, you look at it and, oh, it's exactly the same, but when you actually try and make builds, it's not. It's way more restrictive than you think, from how the badge system works and how many actual attributes you can put on your player. They've created some balance for a change. Like, it really was. They actually did nerf the power forward. It's not the same. Maybe the 6'6" small forward might take over, but the power forward is gone. Big men are shooters now. There's not just slasher, which is a great thing. It wasn't too bad on next gen, I do admit, last year, but big men can shoot. It's great. Like, it really is. There's so much more variety in the game instead of just power forwards. Look, as I always say, that could change because someone just has to make a YouTube video that has that perfect build and it'll break the game in an instant. But until then, I'm enjoying the builder. I'm enjoying the builds. There's a lot of variety at this stage, but that can change very, very quickly. So the last thing I want to talk about is just a few final thoughts, fellas. It's hard to say whether this game is going to be good yet. Look, I'm going to do a bigger review and review all of my career, my team, everything in between and all that sort of stuff, but it's just hard to say whether this game, especially the park, can be played for 12 months, especially with this level 40 rep system and certain things. I just don't know whether people will stick around for 12 whole months. Yeah, this game is great at the moment, but it's the honeymoon period. You don't know how good a game is until after the first month. Once the things have been found, once the kinks have been found by the community, are 2K willing to change them? Because we know 2K don't update their game too frequently and they don't really care about a game after release, but will they this year? But anyway, guys, I've talked and raved long enough. If you do like this rant and rave of my first impressions of NBA 2K22 Next Gen and my first rant and rave and video about NBA 2K22, don't forget to leave a like like, hit the subscribe button and comment down below all your thoughts and opinions when it comes to NBA 2K22. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Leave it all in the comments below. But anyway guys, I've talked and raved long enough. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you later.